Hey, what's up? It's Rashad Antonio. We are the Upon Further Review podcast. Might have to do a DC pod. Just trying to figure out a name. But yeah, The Penguin on HBO and Max. Which, they normally put it up there at 9. Like I was refreshing for a good 5-10 minutes. I'm like, yo,
Oh,
where y'all at,
really?
yo? Yeah,
Oh, for
it kind
real?
of pissed me off. I'm like, yo, where y'all at? Like I'm clicking anyway. Episode 3. What's the name of the episode?
Bliss.
Bliss. All right, y'all. All spoilers. Gotta
And
talk about the thing. Yeah. Go
before
ahead.
we get started, me and Rashad tried to tell y'all, was it what 2 years ago when the Batman came out? Or was it last year?
It
It was
was
like
2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago when the Batman came out. We tried to tell you one of the best movies, one of the best Batman movies of all time, like one of the best movies that year. Um, I kept telling one of my coworkers, this is just a little side story. Coworker, she loves the show, by the way, Penguin. And she was just like, so this is based off of what, like Christian Bale? I said, don't be disrespectful. No, no, because she hadn't seen Dark Knight Rises. She only seen Dark Knight. She never saw, Dark Knight Rises or whatever. I said, no, it's not. This is the Batman, Robert Pattinson. She was like, I'm not the Twilight guy. I said, I'm trying to tell you, this is good. She saw it this weekend, and I got a phone call from my coworker. My coworker she never calls. She always be like, "When I'm home, I'm home. Don't call me, Tony, or anything like that." She called me this weekend. It was like, "Oh my god, the Batman is amazing," and I am so upset I took this long to see it, and now I see why. You know what I'm saying? You was exciting other people who saw this movie for the Penguin, the grittiness of this movie, and the grittiness of. I said, yeah. I said, let me tell you something. Me and my boy will not lead you astray. If we tell you to watch something, we mean really watch it. So
For real.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
funny thing too, like, shout out to your coworker. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? We after watching The Penguin,
Mm-hmm.
the Batman, whatever they call it, it's gotta be rated R. Like, I'm sorry, yo.
Oh
Like,
yes, yes, without a shadow of a
it's
doubt.
gotta be rated R just to
Yeah.
differentiate itself from Batman and Brave and the Bold with the DCU stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's gotta be rated R because the way that they could have added just a little more, way more blood, a couple more F bombs, and that one would have been rated R itself. I feel like they had a rated R cut and they just dialed it back because
Mm-hmm. Because
the
that ass
way
whipping in the beginning was rated R worthy. That Batman put on the gang
that's what
members.
I'm saying.
That
Like,
ass whipping was
yo, he
rated
crushed that
R.
boy for no reason. I mean, ease up, Batman. It's like the way that the Batman just dovetails into the Penguin so effortlessly. The
Mm-hmm.
tonally,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is changed.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing we're doing is basically like, I don't know, like a couple days later, and we're focusing on the Penguin and how he's trying to I'm saying, gain power in the city, which goes into our actual episode. All right, yo. So it's really two storylines. It's Vic and his
Yeah.
girl, and it's Penguin and Sophia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Penguin and Sophia. Let's just get Vic out of the way. Because
Mm-hmm.
this was a storyline that I just was not interested in at all. But I do understand it was a means to win it.
Yeah.
So we kind of figured he had a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Because he was always checking his phone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up seeing her, meeting her. This dude is at the Penguin's little, vault house apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're not gonna touch on the flashback or
oh
got you.
yeah. I forgot. This was sets that all up too. Like, again, I'm tired. So sorry.
Uh-huh.
So we start off where it's like they're just talking about like the what's that? The election. Yeah, the election
Uh-huh.
with Rio.
With the black lady, real I Real is her last name.
Real, yo,
Yeah.
like I
She
almost
yeah,
said
she
Rio Vidal. I said that's
I
not her
I,
name.
I know you was about I was like, don't do it, don't do it.
I almost did it.
I know you tired. I'm tired. I'll handle the flashback part real quick.
Thank
I got
you.
the flashback. All right.
So ashamed.
So you stupid. So we start off in a flashback where Victor is visiting his family. You see, he's walking down the street. He sees this girl, Graciela, and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the rooftop to watch the fireworks for the celebration." You know what I'm saying? And he's like, he's like, "Yeah, cool, no problem. I gotta drop this off or whatever." And he goes to his family's house and knock on the door. You see his mother. You see, I believe his sister.
His sister and his
And you
dad.
and this say his dad or whatever, Dominican family, Afro-Dominican family or whatever. And the father is in there cooking it up. The mom is doing her thing. The sister, you could tell the sister was into the election because she had the pens that said real change, for Miss Real. And they're talking and he's like, hey, here's some parts for you, dad, because his dad is a mechanic or whatever. And he's like, hey, I guess the person that he's working for is kind of shortchanging him. And Victor knows. He's like, hey, man, you need to charge this guy more for this. And it's nothing wrong with asking for more money. And the sister is saying the same thing. And dad is like, hey, man, we doing this. It's all cool, whatever. And then he says, hey, yeah, I'm going to the rooftop, with, some friends and stuff. And mama's always no. Mama said, why don't you bring that girl here? So we can meet this girl or whatever. He's like, oh, come on, man. I'm going to meet, some friends and this and that. And apparently the guy that one of the guys that was Vic's friend is the one that the penguin got killed by the one that got killed by Sophia when he was being interrogated. That was Vic's friend. I can't think of the name right now. And he was like, I don't like you hanging out with him. The father was like, I don't like you hanging out with him. And Vic already knows. He was like, hey, man, what I'm saying? I know you don't like him because of his brother. He says he don't deal with his brother, but he not in the business like that because the brother's a drug dealer. And, father, teenage kid thinks they know more than father. Father's like, whatever. And he was like, all right, man, we all be safe. Where they meet up on the rooftop and they're talking and, doing teenage stuff, drinking Michelob, which was funny. It's ice cold Michelob. Wow. Chicken, drinking Michelob, joking and stuff. And then the friend brother that's the drug dealer, Squiddy or something, he comes up and you see like Vic's girl just like ugh. And she walks away and the dude says, what's up, Vic, whatever, and he goes and she's like, I can't stand him. And they're just talking and she's just talking about, hey, I just want to get out of Gotham. I'm ready to get out of Gotham. And he's all like, hey, man, why would you leave here? This is home or whatnot. And it's like, whatever. The next thing you know, they see an explosion. And they're like, ooh, the fireworks have started. Those aren't the fireworks.
Nah.
My man Vic had a front row seat to all the levees breaking. And he could see his apartment, which is probably... They're probably on an 8-story building.
Yeah, let's just say that they're like it's like 12. Let's say like a 12-story building.
And they're in this mom and them an apartment building down the street. It's like
it's 4 or 5. It's like a storefront. Then 3 floors up. Yeah,
3 floors up. They see all the explosions happen, and then they see the water rushing in from the Gotham River. My man tries to grab his phone to call his mother, and he could see his mother reach for the phone, but then the water comes in and rushes through and wipes everything out. And dude, that I couldn't even imagine witnessing anything like that. So that's how Crown Heights, which is the neighborhood he's from, got completely, taken out or whatever. So apparently through all that whole process, him and his girl kind of lost, because he did help her on the rooftop, but I guess the aftermath of that, they kind of lost touch a little bit because she ended up being at a FEMA encampment and my man was just roaming around. And then so you got to look at what was going on literally 2-3 days later or whatever, how long happened between that in the beginning of the Penguin. Because if I was thinking, I was going to go back to see, it looked like it was the same outfit he had on when he was trying to take the
probably
Penguins
so
on rims or whatever. So so he snaps out of it and we back in present day.
Yeah. Also, Crown Heights is a neighborhood of Brooklyn, but I didn't hear no there. I was like, this one, I was like Crown Heights. I thought it was supposed to be like a New Jersey based show, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're back at present day,
Mm-hmm.
and Vic actually just gets over this girl. Falcone comes over. You know what I'm saying? What's her name?
Sophia.
Sophia. Sophia comes over, and she is like, what first? You know, like he, like Penguin is so he be so whatever about everything, and it just be like triggering. Penguin is so triggering to Vic's anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is his little trigger. He was like, "Look, yo, we about to go out, about to be driving." You know what I'm saying? He said, "Look, yo, hey man, I got you right." He said, "Man, I'm about to start paying you." And Ping was so old school gangster because he always got cash on him. So he pills him off 1,000. He was like, "Oh, 1,000?" He's like, "Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He said, "Man, that's great." He said, "Hey, man, you got to start basically, speaking up for yourself, man." You know what I'm saying? He said, "I want 2,000." And then people just laughed.
He said, "That's what I'm talking about."
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
You ain't getting that. You ain't getting that
you ain't
two.
getting
You,
that yet.
you can
You
get
get
that
that two
one. You know
K.
what I'm saying? You get
Right.
that 52K a year. You know what I'm saying? You came
Yeah.
up. So he's like, "Oh yeah, we about to drive me and drive Sophia. We gotta go to the spot. You know what I'm saying? So we can check out this new drug or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And then also he gets a phone call. Who called him? What was his
It
girl?
was it was no, it was Salvatore from prison.
Oh
From
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
called him
yeah.
from Blackgate.
Yes,
And
yeah, Salvatore.
Sophia's at the door just
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey man, hey, I gotta take this call. Go, go ahead, Sophia." And he was like, "It's the hangman." You know what I'm
he was so shook of I cannot wait until the next episode to find out why people are horrified of this little woman who's probably like 5'6" at best,
Yo,
a hundred
soaking
and
wet. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? 100 pounds, and they are
yeah,
terrified. Like even his girl Eve, who is
mm-hmm.
probably physically outmatches her.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, I'm not messing with that crazy white lady. I'm not doing it,
Because
yo.
what's crazy, because in the comics, Sophia is like a hulking.
Yeah, she's a big person.
She's a big person. She's like six. She's probably like about 6'2", 6'3", and she probably about a good 280, maybe 3 bills, and she's like can pick men up by the neck and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just so funny how he was just like this. He says because they talked earlier, a few minutes earlier, like, so are we working with her or whatever? He's like, no, we working for ourselves. We it's a ends to a means so they can get rid. He says the Falcone family will get rid of her. But she knocking at the door, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go in the room and take this out." He says, answer the door. He was like, "But what she figured me out?" He says, "Man, just talk to her. She'll be all right. Whatever."
Yo, he is in his head. It takes him like a good 35 seconds to open that door. And she come in being Sophia. And he's like, trying to like be all cool and stuff. And he just fumbling and stumbling over his words.
Man, Sophia is a woman, but she had straight BDE, man. She came in with
Oh
BDE,
yeah,
man. And
yeah,
she just
yeah.
walked in and she just looked around and she just gradually picks up a remote and he's like, "That's the remote for." She hits it and it turns on the radio, but it also turns on like a fake fireplace type thing. And she's like, huh, tacky. He's like tacky, and then she starts to grill my man. My man cannot get it together. And she was like, "So how'd you meet Oz?" He's I did some, work on his car, and he liked me and hired me as a driver. She was like, "Oh, so you're a mechanic?" Kind of, yeah, something like that. And then she was like, Also, she is a chain smoker.
Oh
She
yeah,
has
yeah,
to go.
yeah,
She
yeah,
got to at least go through like 3 packs, maybe 4 packs a day, dude, for real. Because
yeah.
she pulled out another cig, and so he kind of started to settle a little bit. Was like, and grabs a lighter, but he can't get the lighter. And she's like, "A mechanic, they can't work a lighter." He says, "Oh, it's probably broke or something." And she took that thing, flick, and it came right on. He was like, you know.
Yeah. This sucks for me. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Now Oz comes out and saves him.
Right.
Like, hey. And she says, "Oh, Nice place.
Yeah, right. After saying his spot is tacky, just like nice, nice place, Oz.
Real flashy.
Real flashy.
He's like, hey, and like,
Uh-huh.
man, like I love how he just be carrying on and just be
Yeah.
so unnecessary all the time.
Also, too, before Oz comes out, she she reveals to Victor something that Oz never revealed to her. When she said, "Yeah, I became a so years driver," she was like, "Funny, Oz used to be my driver when saying back in the day or whatever." And he was like, "Really?" She said, "He probably never told you that." He's like, "No." And he was like, "I wouldn't expect he did." So Oz was basically like a grunt work dude before
Oh
whatever
yeah.
happened with that. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're like, "All right, let's go." And she says, "No, no, 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 no. He's not coming. It's just gonna be you. It's just gonna be you. You're gonna." And then she says, "You're gonna drive me." And then it was almost kind of like an emasculating thing for Penguin.
Oh
She
yeah,
was
yeah,
she
yeah,
was like,
definitely.
and then she said, "It'll just be like old times." I said, "Why?" I said, "She is this woman right here is a piece of work."
No, it
And then
definitely was like, yo, I'm gonna make sure I put you in your place from the
yeah.
jump because seeing how the next scene leads up to her them going to the actual to the spot where they're
Mm-hmm.
making the drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, oh, so like essentially like Albert and oh yeah, he helps him get out the car. He's like, oh, such a gentleman, Oz, such a
Mm-hmm.
gentleman. And then she's asking him about the operation. And he's like, your brother, man, he wasn't one for details or whatever. He was like, I figured. So they go in and everybody's working. They got they meet the chemist who's cooking up this new drug.
And don't forget, they see Oz notices all like the packages and stuff says Arkham
Arkham, yeah,
Asylum,
Arkham
Arkham
Asylum.
Asylum, and he's looking like, "Yo, this is coming from
You cooking this
Arkham."
in Arkham? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
Yeah,
that's what she
so
reveals. That was like, "Yeah, this really won't be Alberto thing. This was mine."
yeah, which was like, oh,
That's why she knew so much, and she was like, "Yo, this nigga's playing in my face, basically,
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole time."
yeah, definitely. So they get in there, talk to people in charge, go talk to the chemist, and he was like, and I was like, yo, y'all in here on the shrooms? Like, what is this? And he was like, nah, don't touch nothing, my guy. You gonna mess the whole thing up, the whole colony of mushrooms up. He was like, okay. So ironically, they end up taking one off anyway. But he's like,
Right.
we're not really worrying about the mushroom. This is like a rare mushroom from whatever. And it secretes this liquid. He said, and this is what we're focusing on. And essentially, whatever psychedelic that comes out of that mushroom was the same stuff that they had the people in Arkham on. You know what I'm saying? Which is which could clearly set up poison ivy. You know what I'm saying? As a botanist and what you call it, but that's speculation. But
That's here
yeah,
nor there right now.
yeah, nah. So we have them talking this out, and Oz is like, oh, so they had y'all in there, huh? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and then they end up showing them the finished product. Now, Tony, if you're thinking like I'm thinking, when you saw the product, what did you think?
When I saw the product, I was like, "What the hell is this?" It looked almost like I'm gonna tell you what I automatically thought of, and you probably didn't think of this because we might be on the wavelength. I thought of it was some vampire movie I saw where they had the blood because vampires take blood, but they found a way to mix like drugs with the blood so vampires can get high, and that's what I thought.
Wow, we definitely on two different wavelengths because when I saw it,
Uh-huh.
I instantly thought about New Jack City.
See,
Instantly thought about because he had the
okay,
bottle of crack.
so
It looked like red crack.
that came to me later when she wow just straight up put it on the table when they went to the talk to the triad when he was like,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's when that part came to me. That's what I was like, oh, that's that New Jack City type of stuff. Oh, this right here making the it looked like what old girl say, it looked like chips soap up in here, whatever, like little broken off soap. And he's like, no, this is about to change the world. And it was like in that vial and everything.
People want to get high, real high,
High,
and real
real
fast.
Yeah.
that's exactly what I thought about. Yo, I said,
Right.
yo, your
I
man
thought about
is
that later on. That later on. Yeah.
They in there cooking crack.
Right.
First we had the random drops. Now we got crack. Like, yo, like
look at the
Gotham.
of this.
Yeah, for real. Like it's just all. All right, I'm gonna start singing Griselda lyrics. Anyway,
right.
So go ahead.
While all that's going on, before Oz leaves Victor at his apartment, he's like, "Hey kid, he says, don't do nothing. I'm gonna know if you did anything." And Victor does what, man? He gets in touch with his girl and brings his girl up there. Mm-hmm. To make it seem like it's this, not make it seem like it's about like, yeah, I'm here with, say the guy. She's like, oh, you're doing good for yourself or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'm like the driver for this club owner. It's not really an all the way lie. It's true because
that's what we call the sins of omission. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, right. It was some truth into that, considering that Oz was the proprietor of the Iceberg Lounge or whatever. Like
definitely wasn't the whole truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right, want the whole truth. So, she's talking, and he is so happy to see her. You can tell he really does love her, and then he's excited, and he's like, "Oh, everything's gonna be okay." He's thinking like, "Oh, we're gonna make this happen." And she drops the bomb on him, baby. She basically says, "Yeah, I'm leaving." And he's like, "What you mean?" "Yeah, I'm moving to California." And he was like, "Well, when are you leaving?" Tomorrow night. And he's like, "What?" And she's just telling him like, "Hey, man, your family's dead. My family's dead. I really don't have nothing here. I'm tired of living in a FEMA encampment," which dealing with that is so apropos in real world time right now, because what happened in North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, and whatever like Georgia, that, Georgia, and all that. So she's telling him, "Hey, why don't you come with me?" And he's like, "Yo, my boss not gonna let me go." And she's like, "Why is your boss not going to let you go?" And he's kind of hesitating a little bit, and he finally explains to her, who he's working for and stuff. And she's like, "Dude, do you want that life?" or stuff, not making him feel bad, but having him question, like, "You don't want that life. That's not you." And he's like, whatever. And then she was like, "Look, just come with me or whatever." And then finally he's like, "Yo, you got to go." He on his way back. He flips and says, "You know what? Here." And he gives her some of the $1,000 that he had and said, stay in a nice hotel tonight and get 2 tickets. I'll meet you at the bus station tomorrow night. And that's kind of the last time we see of the girl until the end of the episode, where he makes that happen with that. So go ahead. I think the next thing is that they are trying to. Sophia explains to Oz, "Look, this is what we're trying to do, trying to take over, but we need to find a supplier. We need not a supplier. Right. We're the supplier. We need to find a distributor, someone to distribute this who's not afraid." And Oz is like, "Yo,
hey, I know a guy.
I know a guy. I know a guy." Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So boom, next day, and getting ready and everything. Mm-hmm. And they end up going to meet the Triads. Mm-hmm. So they got that red crack with them. Mm-hmm. And they won a couple of vows just to show them. Mm-hmm. They said, "Look, yo," and I'm like, "Yo," looking at where they was at, this is such a city thing. I'm like, "How you gonna park in the front of the establishment at the corner?" I said, "Yo, that is not the spot to park." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That is a no parking zone.
And by the way, Vic is back driving for them now at this point.
Yeah. Vic is driving. You know what I'm saying? So they go in. He's like, "Yo, leave the car running. I'll be out in a few." They get in there. And he said, "Hey," he said, "Well," I said, "Why do you have this liquor?" He said, "No, we got to have a little peace offering." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, just right here again." You know what I'm saying? Because mm-hmm. Because one thing I was going to do, he gonna talk his way in and out of some stuff.
Yeah.
So he already know he had to talk his way into the room to talk his way out of the room. You know, so they go in, puts the bottles on the bar. Triad dude comes down. He's like, you know we got beef.
Where my give me my money.
That's
what he basically told
he
that
said,
dude.
Yeah.
I gave you a truck full of cigarettes and I ain't got my money. Yo, where is my money?
He said, I'm surprised you asked for that feature request. You know we got some to address. Because for real, because he was hot, guns on him. He said, hey. I can explain everything. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got you. I can think better when there's ain't guns to my head. Then he said, look, I know you. I know you, Sophia. I know what you about. So what is y'all doing? You know what I'm saying here? So he says, look, we got some new hotness. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell before you even say the next thing, you can tell the power struggle between Sophia and between Oz and how they want to explain and roll out the drug. Because Oz is like, you know, Oz is being Oz and Sophia is being very, very
she's being very
very number three, very pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? And her approach. And Oz is trying to be like, hey, you know, like, it's all good. And she's like, look, we can make you money. We can get you people high. Y'all got the place. Only thing we need is a test run, and you can see what's what. And he's like, well, you know, it ain't really up to me. You got to talk to the big dog. You know what I'm saying? He was like, look, only thing is, we need to make sure that y'all not trying to double cross your own people. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh, no. Wow, we got support. We got support from VD.
Yeah.
He said, oh, you do? You got support from VD, huh? All right, well, do this. I need a phone call from VD. You know what I'm saying? I need you to get him on the phone. Let me know that he got your support. And then we'll set stuff up for tonight at the club. And go ahead.
Two things. So number one, Oz is the one that names the drug Bliss because the drug didn't have a name at first.
It didn't.
The guy was like, so what is this? What is this call here? And she's just sitting there. Oz says, it's Bliss. You give nothing but bliss when you get this. It's bliss or whatever. And she looks at him like, not bad or whatever. Also, what happened, like probably right before we cut to the scene when they pull up to this spot, she goes home and Vidi basically pulls her to the side and says, look here.
Oh, yeah.
Luca said, your ass going to Italy, you need to carry your ass to Italy. You in the way type stuff. And he's talking, he really is not scared of her because he's talking crazy to Sophia. He's like, man, everybody know you crazy and you cuckoo, you messed up in the head. He said they scared to tell you. I ain't scared to tell you. He hands her a piece of paper with the flight on it for her to get on. And she's like, oh, you printed this out yourself? I said, oh, that is so hilarious. She played him like that. And she says, look, get up there. She says, give me time. She said, you got 24 hours to get your shit together and get out of here. No one wants you here type stuff. So when Oz, and I'm pretty sure she did not tell Oz that happened. So when Oz, like, y'all got the blessing, the daggone betray, you know what I'm saying? She was like, Vidi. He was like, she looked like, how the hell you gonna get your way out of this type of shit? Oz, or what? How you gonna get your way out of this? And she sits back and don't say nothing. She's just letting Oz. It's like she's giving Oz the rope to hang himself, but he always finds a way to not hang himself.
Also, like, I love how this show seeds things and given different opportunities for things to come back around. Because he already tried to blackmail him once, but it didn't work. Now he's like, oh yeah. The name walking back. Oh, walking back to the car. Like, oh yeah. Don't worry. It's all part of the plan.
Right.
And where we go to next? What
so not yet. So while they're in their meeting with the Triad, your boy Vic is in the car waiting, and he's on the phone. And he keeps looking at his phone, texting with the girl. She's like, "Cool, see you in a few hours," and she's happy that he's coming with her. And he has the bag full of the Bliss drug, and they of course are illegally parked, like you said, Rashad.
In the back, open.
In the back, and right. And so next thing you know, whoop whoop, police car pull up, my man. And you see Vic, he's about to go into a panic attack. Oh shit! No. He keep looking at the bag, and this cop right here knows some BS is going down. He don't even say, "Hey, license and registration." He knocks on the door. Get out the car. He's like, "Hey man, what you doing with this car here?" And he's like, "Oh, it's my boss's car, whatever." He's like,
okay.
And then flash.
No, the funny thing is like everybody comments on how flashy the car is.
Right. Yeah, like he's
flashy car.
Flashy car. He says, "Put your hands on the hood," and starts patting them down. And then he pulls out the rest of the wad of money that he had, the rest of the, I guess, $1,000 that he had left over from when he gave. And he's like, "Yo, what's this? What's this right here?" And he's like, "What a kid like you doing with this type of money?" And this is when Victor starts to use his head, because he goes back to probably thinking to what Penguin said. You got to be quick on this. You got to be able to use your mind. And Victor looked at him and said,
"What money?
What money? I don't have no money. What money? I don't have no money. I don't have no money on me. I don't have no money on me." And the cop looks at him and like nods and was like, "Okay." He says, "Hey, look here, kid. As soon as your boss get up, get out of there. Get the hell out of here." And walks away. And by this point, they made the negotiation with the Triad, like underling dude, and he comes out with Sophia, and Sophia's like you said, "Well, how the hell are you gonna get your way out of this, Oz?" And this and that. He's like, "Don't worry, I got a plan." And she's like, "What do you know that I don't know?" And he's like, that's all he says. He just laughs. It's like, it's all good. That's when we cut to the luncheon scene.
Yeah.
And I really did like this scene. I really, really like this scene. You see Oz and Victor at this fancy ass restaurant. And I didn't know who it was at first. You kept seeing Oz looking at
you looking back. Yeah, you're right.
Behind Victor had two women there or whatever. But he so they're sitting there talking, and Oz and Vic telling Oz the story with the cop, and he's like, "Good job, kid. Hey, that's the breaks. That's what happens sometimes."
Welcome to the game, baby.
Basically, charge it to the game. That's how, how it is type stuff. Or whatever. Also, while Vic was in the car waiting, he also was trying to come up with a way to tell Oz, "Hey, I'm leaving you, dude." He's like, "I'm gonna leave you, Oz. There's this girl." Oz says, because he's like, "Yeah, this dude's gonna kill me." So they're talking in a restaurant, and Oz is just like, "Cool." And then they start having a conversation. He says, "So tell me about," he says, "Yo, man, tell me about your family, your parents." And he basically says like, "Yeah, my mom was like in home health. My dad, he was a mechanic, but his passion was cooking and stuff." And Oz was like, "Yeah." And Oz was just like, "Yeah, it just sucks, man, that good American people just can't, survive off of doing not meaningless, but meaningful jobs that are really mean. You can't survive off of that." He's like, "The world isn't built for little guys like us." He's giving Vic this speech, and he was like, "Man, you a good kid, man." And Oz really means this. He's like, "Yo, man, you're a really good kid, and your father would be proud, saying of you or whatever." This is the part that I like. So the waiter comes, is like, "Are you ready to order?" Oz orders his meal, no problem. We all know Vic has a speech impediment problem, and they are in this fancy ass restaurant. They're probably Italian words that he has no fucking idea.
Oh yeah, because it's like as soon as he says steak free, I said, "Oh, he can't say free test to say his life."
He was
struggling.
He said, "I would like the steak." It went on for like about 15 seconds, and then the waiter he was trying to help, but that also was a disrespectful thing. For somebody that does have a speech impediment, he said it for him. He says the Fritz said, "Don't you interrupt him. You see him talking. He's talking. Don't you interrupt him. You let him say it. And you let him order his food." And then he was like, "I'm so sorry, sir." And then Vic finally got it out, and Oz told him, he was like, "It's okay." He says, "No." He says, "No, he want to make sure he got his tip." That's what that is. And then he tells him, "Look here, kid." He says, "I ain't care if it took you all day to say it." He says, he told him basically he needs to start standing up for himself once again. and have a back, and have a backbone, and basically don't take nothing from nobody disrespecting him in a way. Go ahead.
And then he said something real important because it brings us up at the end too.
Mm-hmm.
He says you need to start taking up space.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that notion like really speaks to who Penguin is.
Mm-hmm.
Because everywhere he goes, like his presence is it's a larger than life presence. Everywhere he goes, he takes us, regardless, even if he's like we're chilling with his people at the beginning when he went to the factory with the drops, taking up space. Him chilling with the hookers, taking up space. Him even with the Falcones, they hate him so much because he's taking up space. You know what I'm saying? So like that whole notion of like, look, you got to start really emulating what I do on a bigger level, so you can some people can't just overshadow you.
Mm-hmm. And so he says that, and Victor kind of agrees, and they toast. And then one of the ladies leave the table, and he tells Vic, "All right, it's time now." Goes over to the table. Is Luca's wife, the one that Vidi has been smashing the whole time, secretly. And Penguin basically tells her, "Hey, look here, I need a favor from you." Yeah, don't know what he said to threaten her to do what she did.
Oh, you know what he did.
Oh yeah, he probably was like, "Oh, we can
God needs you to go ahead and let Vita get the cheeks. So I'm gonna tell I'm gonna get these picks to Luca. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm. So the next scene cuts to Penguin sitting outside of a hotel room, and then Sophia's coming up. He was like, "Hey, yeah, it took you long enough." She's like, "They in there?" He was like, "Sure are." And they opened up the door, and daggone Luca's wife is riding daggone that man, and he's like, "Oh damn," or whatever. Vinny's like, "Oh damn," I've been caught. And so, and like Sophia is still her weird self, smoking like 2 cigarettes the whole time, and then they sit there looking. He was like, "Hey, thanks there, doll. You can get up out of here." And she's grabbing her clothes, about to leave. And then you get Sophia. Don't forget your underwear. Goes to get her underwear. And it's like, "So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing." He was like, "Trust me." He says, "You gonna do something to me?" He says, "All we gotta do is tell Luca that you smashing his wife. Then what? Then what, man?"
You don't have the authority in this situation. Like we literally got you right here with your drawers down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. We got you by the cojones, dude. We got you. And so he's like, well, he's like, yeah. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna call the Triad boss. Tell him, hey, that the meeting you had with him has full authority. Then he puts 2 and 2 together. Was like, you trying to pull a take over or whatever you try to do like that. He was like, you don't got no say so. Basically tells him about himself, and then the guy tries to talk to the Penguin. You tell us something. The Falcones laugh at you behind your back. Roman, he said the same thing. She probably don't even like you. So what? You're backing a psycho, huh? He just start calling him all types of names. He's like, yo, I don't think she appreciates you calling her a psycho. And then we see where the Penguin snaps, because the Penguin, as we saw when he killed Alberto, don't take highly of you disrespecting him in his face. My man jumped on that bed and rammed his phone in this dude's mouth and basically cussed him out, told him he is gonna do this, or we can kill you, or we can get Luca to kill you, to tell Luca what's going to kill you. And then he finally breaks down and do it. And he makes the phone call, and there you have it.
That was such a good scene, yo. Like that whole thing, from the juxtaposition of Oz being almost like a nurturing mentor figure to him being a menace, all in a matter of minutes. That felt like they were in the same place, like the hotel and restaurant were attached together.
Probably,
you know what I'm saying? It felt like she went in to get lunch. I'm gonna go get a little bite to eat. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be upstairs. You know what I'm saying? So that's
sustenance.
Yeah.
Sustenance if I get these cheeks clapped.
Hey, you watched The Office?
Yes.
You remember the episode when Mike was about to have sex with Jan. He was like, "Oh, what you gonna eat? Something light. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Yeah, yeah,
like a
yeah,
soup. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
a soup."
yeah. Yeah, I remember. I remember that. I ain't seen that in a long time, but yeah,
I love The Office.
I
So
remember that.
so that whole thing for me, like it was just a well constructed scene, and also going back to what I was saying about bringing something back around because he been had them pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Look, I'm gonna use this to my advantage," even though I couldn't directly give it to him because I mean, on the real, that was like more or less a moment of desperation because he
Mm-hmm.
thought that he couldn't get to the Maroni dude in time.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's like, oh well, I don't kill dude, so it don't even matter. Let me go ahead and angle myself this way. He's
Mm-hmm.
again thinking on his feet.
Yeah. Um. Also, when they was having the exchange, Vidi was like, "Oh, so you trust him now?" Talking after he ratted you out, he was like, "I'm not a rat," and he was the one that basically we kept hearing that the Penguin Oz is the reason why Sophia got locked up in Arkham and
Yeah.
whatever, and we find out later on, kind of something behind that. So we cut to the nighttime at the club, the Triad Club. Man, it's lit in there. Oz is in VIP with Sophia, Victor, his girl, and her stable. So it's like 4 or 5 in the stable or whatever. And he basically tells them, look here, we got to make sure this works. $20 a pop. He says, when you run out, you know what I'm saying? Vic's the duffel bag boy. Get your duffel bag, bud. Get money. You know what I'm saying? Vic's
I ain't never ran from it, and I never the day to start running. I was like
Yeah.
duffel bag boy. That's good. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
thank you, man. So he's like, Vic's the duffel bag boy. Give him the money once y'all get it. Y'all run out, whatever, cool. And then again, we see the chick that has kind of like, I guess, the Gotham version of OnlyFans, who was flirting with Victor, earlier in the like what an episode or two ago. So he's so Vic's the duffel bag boy, and he sends them out to go do their thing. In the process of that, Sophia notices that the young lady that is the Penguin's girlfriend gives him a kiss and leave, and she starts to ask him a question. She straight up asks him, "Hey, why did you betray me, and why did you basically tell my family why you betray me and why you tell my family about me and set me up to go to Arkham?" And he's like, he's like, it ain't as easy as you think it is. And she's like, no, why don't you just go ahead and tell me? He's like, it ain't that simple, this and that. He was like, look, I'm following you because this should be you in charge. You should be in charge, period. He says it ain't got nothing to do with that. He says that was 10 years ago. So she had been locked up for 10 years, basically. And he said that was 10 years ago. And so that went down. On the floor, we see the people taking the drugs. And this is a drug that you take by right, Rashad. That's how they would look at you. And you take this drug by, even though it looked like crack rock, red crack rock, you take it like I guess it dissolves quickly when you lick it. When you lick it, because they put it in their hand and they lick it, or else they just pour it down their throat. And they was having a feel, and the girls kept coming back. Hey, Vic, need some more. Booker came with her purse and said, I need some more. He said, how much? She said, more. And so he just grabbed a handful and put in there, and they was just racking up, they were racking up with the money and everything. And so then the OnlyFans chick from earlier who had a you was away when I said it earlier. You stepped out. But the Gotham OnlyFans chick who kind of feeling Vic a little bit.
For real, she is. I don't even know why. Yeah.
She was like, hey, Vic, come over here and dance. He's like, I can't dance.
Like, girl, I'm working.
I'm go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. Get money. He get his money. And she's like, come on. And so she danced with him a little bit, but my man has PTSD. because they started doing like flashing lights all around different spots in the club. My man, like, and he goes back to the night that the levees broke in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, at first I was thinking, Rashad, that maybe somehow he got drugged, you know, some of the drug in him, and I said maybe he's having like a psychedelic. That's what I was thinking at first, but then I said no, he's having PTSD. He
Yeah.
drops the bag and some of the vials fall down, and he's like freaking out or whatever.
No, each
And
weekend, bro.
the chick is like, "Yo, calm down. What is wrong with you? You dropping the drugs?" So he gets the stuff, and he like kind of just he goes into the bathroom. In the meantime, Penguin and Sophia are upstairs in the little VIP, and they're talking to the Triad boss. And they're like, look what's going on out here. But, hey man, and Penguin says, look here, we started off the night $20 a pop, and we raise it up each time, and they keep giving us the money, more money, more money. He's like, hey, this gonna double your business. You can do this here, do this at your club, your other club, your casino, and all that. And he's like, yeah, the Triad boss is like, yeah, I mean, this seems like it'll be lucrative or whatever, but you know, y'all, the Triad and the Falcones, you know, we got some little beef. And Sophia was like, look here, I'm the one that's in charge of this right here. I'm dealing with me. You know, you're dealing with me type thing. And she's like, look, my dad, I know, you know, pushed y'all out to where y'all are just regulated here in Chinatown. And then he says, yeah, no love lost. When your father died, I popped a bottle of champagne. And she said, when he died, I went to dance on his grave. She said, I danced on his grave. I have no love lost. And he basically was like, yeah, you know, he put his daughter in Arkham. And she goes on to say, look, you know, talk to him about, you know, I know you don't want to do this. And she goes on a whole spiel about, you know, people need a way to get away from what's going on. He was like, look at them out there. You would think that what happened here didn't just happen. They drugged up. She says, I know about this. You know why? This is what they gave me when gave the patients in Arkham, just to keep us like sedated and just to keep us like calm and mellowed out. And he's looking because she brings up that his father, the Triad boss, was a psychologist and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so he was like, cool, and they talking. And in the process, they having that conversation. She walks away, and Oz talks to the guy, and it's like, look here, yo. And he's like, so are you trying to take over? No. I'm with her. I'm loyal to her or whatever, this and that. Your boy's in the bathroom, Vic, trying to come down off his panic attack. Splash of water in his face. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. All that good stuff or whatever like that. Oz at the point had already told Sophia, hey, the Triad has accepted the deal. So he goes into the bathroom and he sees Vic. And Vic's phone keeps going off saying from the girl, hey, bus is going to leave soon. You coming? All this stuff. And I was like, hey, yo, Vic, man, it worked, baby. You did the thing. I told you I was going to trust you. I ain't trusted you with this. You ain't messed up. Kid, we are going to be rich. It's working. Everything is going to be fine. This and that. And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, you good? He's like, yeah. And the phone ring. And he just kept looking at it. I said, give me your phone. And he's like, huh? Give me your phone. And he reads the messages and like, you going to leave with my money? And he's like, no, I don't want your money, man. I'm just trying to get out of here. You know, he's like, you live over some ass over a girl. And then he was just like, hey, man, chill. You don't understand. He said, it ain't just her. He was like, it's this, all of this. He was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This isn't me. And Oz is pissed because Oz is like, you think I'm entrapping you? I'm not. He said, you could have left anytime you wanted, kid. Or whatever. You could have left anytime you wanted or whatever. And then he basically reads the kid for filth and like, no, the problem is, it ain't that, you know what I'm saying? It's this right here, is that you want better for yourself. You want better than your parents. And he was like, you could have left anytime. You stayed because you wanted to stay. Like, and he said, and the kid was like, no. He was like, no, look at, he grabbed him through him, look in the mirror. He says, no, this is a you, basically, this is a you thing. This ain't a me and you thing. This is a you versus you thing. And then the kid like snaps and he basically, he grew a little hair on his peach nuts, talking about, he said, F you. He told Oz, he says, F you. He says, F me. He says, you weren't nothing for me. He says, I got you clothes. You stay at my house. You drive in my car. Gave you some money. Yo, no, F you, kid. And they having like a real like friendship argument about, it's a friendship argument, but it's also one of them friendship arguments that sometimes people have, like, look at everything I've done for you. I've been there, is stuff like that. And then finally the kid is like, yo, F this, I'm out. And he bounces.
Gets in Penguin's car. And then dips.
This is my car now.
So he drives down to the bus station, and then he has his crisis of conscience. He's like, look, so do I really want to go? You know what I'm saying? Because he sees the girl, sees her get on the bus, the whole nine, and he's in the car, and it's like the very much stereotypical rainy night. You know what I'm saying? Like, raindrops on the bus glass, and he looks at her, and she's looking around to see if, like, if she sees Vic, doesn't, gets on the bus, and Vic's like, man, I'm in too deep, like LL Cool J right now. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Hey, man, California ain't gonna be for me. Like I love her on some, but I can't. Like, nah, like what Penguin said was for real. Like, I do want better for myself. I go to California. Like, I done tasted what it means to get money. I'm getting $1K a week just to drive. I'm not gonna get that in California. You know what I'm saying? So he he sheds a metaphorical tear and busts that U-turn back to the club. So at the club.
This is a good scene.
Sophia and Penguin, they you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, yeah, we did that today. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, the daggone Maroni's pull up, yo.
But remember what happened before that, though?
What's that?
Because he went and found her, and she was smoking a cigarette like in the alley of the club. And
out in the back.
He was like, "You did it, baby." Blah 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 blah. This and that. And she presses him again. Why did you betray me? It turned me. He was just like,
this again?
Come on. Like, this again? Come on, girl. We got to celebrate. And he was like, hey, look, we did. And she finally said, fine. You want to know? He says, I want it better for myself. He says, look at me. Because she was like, you ain't a made man, because he couldn't be a made man. You're not Italian or whatever.
Not in the family.
You're not in the family. You're not a made man. You did all this just to become a capo? He was like, hey, man, how I grew up, me. I'm not even supposed to be in this position right here. He says, I went from being a grunt driver to being a capo. And he said, what he said? He says, to get in the club, being a capo, and being in charge of the drops distribution. He says, that was good. That's a ceiling for me. I had that. That's what I went. And he says, I'm sorry. I did not know telling your father about the BS that you was doing. He was going to turn you into Arkham, girl. He just had no idea that he was going to do that. I'm sorry. He says, I'm sorry. He says, I have to live with that the rest of my life. I did not know that he was going to do that. And he was like, 10 years ago. She said, oh, you ain't got to tell me how long it was. I know it was 10 years ago or whatever. And they having a moment, and she finally softens up the odds and metaphorically accepts his apology. Accepts his apology. And here's the thing with Oz on this show. He is such a great liar and a great way to get out of things. It's like, you can't tell whether he really means it. He really means what he's saying, or he like, I'm about to lay this on thick so this woman will leave me the hell alone about it. I believe it's the latter.
And you can't confirm it because Falcone dead. So it's like,
right. So they talking, they have their moment, and next thing you know, what happens?
Yeah, Maroni wife pull up, a couple goons, and he like, oh yeah, we know you killed our boy, yo. You know what I'm saying? So has them outside on their knees, hands behind their back, like they about to get killed execution style. And your boy Vic is rolling up. He said, man, all right, let me go back to the club. Talk this over with, talk this over with Oz, get things squared away, because I'm here. Let's get this. Let's get this money.
Get money.
Wow, I was not ready for that. So he pulls up to the club, and kind of looking around like, hold up, is that Oz on the ground? You know what I'm saying? So split second decision. Yeah, boom! Hits one of the goons, backs up. Penguin hops in the car. He's like, "Get out of here! Get out!" And Vic
What,
says,
what about so?
"Yo, get the hell out of here!"
What about Sophia? Leave her. Bro, at that point, I said, this man BS his way through that whole conversation. Girl, no, baby, I ain't mean it. He BS his way through that.
He left her. And this is only episode 3.
Left her ass
He
with
got 5 more episodes.
he left her ass with the fate of the Maroni folk that did survive or whatever. Oh my God. Fade to black. End of the episode.
Yo, I
this is a
was
good episode.
crying laughing at the end of that.
Leave her.
I said, no, he not about to leave
Hey,
the
Rashad,
person who he spilled his heart out to.
you know what that gave me a flashback of?
What's that?
You can relate. They passed out. Grab the horn. Grab the horn. Grab the horn. Watching over.
Oh my God, that is so true.
Get a job, Grinch.
So true. Grab the no, man, like just the total disregard. Like when I mean Oz is all about Oz is a survivor, so
yeah,
he's gonna think about his life above everybody else's at all times. Hence why he just be lying.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like one of my favorite movies as a kid that I didn't understand it a whole lot until I got older. Raising Arizona. With,
oh my God.
Remember John Goodman when they left the baby by mistake? Never leave a man behind. Oz was like, leave her. Let's go.
Yo, that is hilarious, man. Yeah. Like, they're doing a really good job of constructing this show and just showing and they're keeping the intensity up. There's not a lot of like downtime in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can feel my blood pressure rising just a little watching this. Like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? Mm-hmm. They don't really break the tension. You know what I'm saying? So like even in like the lighter moments, it's still some intensity to those moments as well. So like, yeah, that's just good writing and direction. Shout out to Craig Zobel. I don't even know what he's done, but he's directed the first 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, they've done a great job doing this. A great job. Can't even lie. I can't wait. Oh, yo, this dude is done all HBO stuff.
Okay.
He done Westworld, episode of Westworld. He done The Leftovers. He also did American Gods. He did Mayor of Easttown.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's definitely directed some major television.
And I like Leftovers too, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good throwback series.
Yo, so I saw the preview for next week's episode. Did you see it?
Oh, you can talk about it.
The preview for next week's episode, it seems like it's going to be a flashback episode. I can't wait. It's showing back to what happened with Oz and Sophia.
Oh, okay.
You're going to get the recasted Carmine Falcone.
I knew it was coming sooner or later because
and they were showing how like, you know, he was kind of like, yo, Sophia, what are you doing? Like, you see her as young, so you know she's still the same character, but she's younger, and how she's the hangman and all that stuff, and how basically Carmine was like, yo, you my daughter, but get your crazy ass in Arkham. You need to get out of here. So it seemed like that entire, if not the entire episode, I'm gonna say a good chunk of that episode is going to be a flashback of what she did. And I think Dylan, and it showed like pictures of the women 7 women that were killed and stuff like that. And he probably saw all this stuff happen, and he probably had to, you know, sometimes your conscience even get with something. He probably had to be like, yo, I got to tell her daddy about this daggone.
Yeah. It could have been. Yeah, it's or just something. Yeah, it's a lot to that. So
yeah, daddy's little girl is crazy. Basically for the most part. So yeah. So I can't wait to see next week's episode. But yeah, man, another good episode for this show. I saw something online that made me think. That made a good point about this because, as far as we know and what we've been told, Batman is not going to show up in this.
Nope.
But I do love how a lot of stuff is done during the daytime when Bruce is being nocturnal and he's, saying when he's probably resting up and everything. They show stuff that happen at night, but it's like small little pockets of it. A lot of the stuff you see is daytime, and I'm pretty sure Bruce during this time period is probably focusing more on helping recovery and stuff like that for Gotham City, man. So I'm really
because especially this is like on the heels of that. He probably not even being Batman for a little bit. He probably is being philanthropic for a change. Yeah, hopefully.
With but the Wayne Enterprises.
Nah, man, such a good episode of television. Again, HBO. Y'all know how to make prestige television. I mean, what more can I say?
It's not TV.
It's HBO. Yes. Let's just show our age while we're at it. Right, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So we got for this one. We'll be back Thursday, 7 p.m. Agatha, all along, episode 5. So we're at the kind of the halfway point because it's 9 episodes, but the last 2 are back to back. But nah, yo. Oh, real quick, shout out to everybody on Threads. But the last daggone thing we did for Rings of Power, they got over 1,100 votes.
Nice. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Of course, Sauron won like 50%. Should have been more, but it is what it is, man. We still love y'all. But yeah, man, that's it. Till the next time.